Welcome back to my spaceship. My name is Let the Alien, or you can call me Stillian for short, and today I'm gonna teach you how to use Chelsea in FIFA 22 with my personal custom tactics 4-2-3-1. And yeah, Thomas Tuchel's 3-4-3 is obviously the best formation for Chelsea, but I want to play more offensive, because the 3-4-3 formation by Thomas Tuchel doesn't really help me to score a lot of goals. As you can see in the real life, Chelsea don't really tend to score a lot of goals. They basically score like maximum 2 goals, okay? 3 goals because maybe the opponents are very weak or something like that. And yeah, 4-2-3-1 is very offensive and you got less defenders, and I found this formation is pretty deadly actually if you use it the right way, especially in counter-attacking. And the ball possession with this formation is going to be much better, especially on the middle, because the 3-4-3 formation are much better in ball possession on the overlap, or maybe counter attack on the overlap as well. But with the 4-2-3-1, you can play on both sides. You can play on the center and you can also play on the overlap. That's what I like about 4-2-3-1. So yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to use this. Before we get to the tactical side of this, I'm just gonna explain to you how I'm gonna play on the pitch later, give you a little bit of visual, and this is how I'm gonna do it. Okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. For Werner, I'm gonna treat Werner as a winger because he got the speed, he got the dribbling, and he just lacked the shooting actually. So Werner is all about speed, so he's gonna run very fast into the final third, or maybe get cut inside and get into the box and score goals. That's how I'm gonna play Werner. And for Gia is basically a playmaker who plays a winger. We got a term for this kind of player. He is called as an inverted winger. He's a winger who plays a playmaker. He's basically going to stay pretty much static on this zone. So all he gonna do is that he's gonna do a lot of passes, like from the overlap. He's gonna pass the ball to Lukaku, to Mount, to Kante. But if you wanna use Ziyech at the maximum, at the maximum level, try to use Ziyech to cross the ball to Lukaku and let Lukaku score the header. So because Ziyech is very good at crossing, as you can see, he got 88 crossing, which is insane, and 90 curve and 89 long pass. So just use Ziyech to cross the ball from this position as many times as you can into the center when Lukaku is inside the box or outside the box. Just try to pass the ball using Ziyech, long passes, crosses to Lukaku. That's how you're gonna play Ziyech. And for Jorginho, he's going to be playing as a deep line playmaker. He's mostly going to stay deep on this midfield, because he's basically the master puppet in this team. He's basically the commander. He's basically the one who decides when to attack, when to defend. He is the most important player in this team, in this formation. And many people underestimate Jorginho, and he is my most favorite player, basically beside Lukaku and Kante. And yeah, Jorginho is very important. So yeah, if you want to play, if you want to start a build-up attack or something like that, or counter attacks, every time you're gonna do that, you have to pass the ball to Jorginho and let Jorginho build up all those attacks from the back. Or maybe if you want to pass the ball, if you want to use Ziyech to build up the attack, it's fine as well. But really, if you really want to play very offensive, very effective, very efficient counter attack, just play using Jorginho. And I basically use Ziyech just for the crossing actually. And for Kante, obviously, Kante is basically everywhere. He even got the song Golo Kante Palala. So basically Kante is just a defender, and he is very mobile as well. So just treat Kante more like a defender on the midfield. And especially when you wanna press the opponents very high up, just use Kante to press the opponents very aggressively, pressing them high up, and they are gonna lose the ball eventually if you do it right. And for the attacking wing backs, for Alonso, he's going to be play very offensive. He's going to go overlap, and he can also sometimes play on the half spaces. For example, when Werner is playing on the overlap, Alonso can play on the half spaces like this. He can also sometimes score goals and give assists to Lukaku directly with a short pass or 1-2 passes with Lukaku. And yeah, eventually you're going to create a lot of attacking chances if you play Alonso that way. And for Azpilicueta, he can play, he can play as a right wing back, and he can also play as a center back. For example, if Alonso is going up, he can tuck inside like this to play as a third center back, together with Rudiger and Silva. Rudiger is supposed to be on the left side and Silva on the right side. I'm sorry about that. So Azpilicueta, he can also play running overlap, very attacking minded, and he can also play cross the ball to Lukaku and let Lukaku score the header or something like that. So Azpilicueta is a very versatile player. He can play anywhere. He can play as a midfielder, he can play as a back, he can play as a center back, he can play as a right wing back, he can play everywhere. So he's much more of a defender basically. So yeah, that's it for Azpilicueta. And for Mason Mount, he's going to be playing more like a second striker. You can treat him as a number 10 because in this game he is very good at passing. He got 83 long pass, 86 short passes. He's very good at doing all of that, and he is also pretty good at shooting the goal. He loves to do long shots when he wants to score that goal. If he wants to score goals, he tends to do a lot of long shots into the box. That's how Mason Mount plays in the real life. So yeah, just treat Mason Mount more like a number 10. That's it. And for Lukaku, obviously, he's all about goal scoring. He's all about goals. And that's it for Lukaku. Just treat him like a poacher. That's it. Yeah, I have nothing to say for the gameplay. Let's just go to the tactical settings. For the formation, it's going to be 4-2-3-1 wide. Okay. And for the tactics, defensive style, balance with 50, depth 65. Defensive style balance because I love to play the most balanced way possible. Because that's the way I play, because I love to be very unpredictable when I'm playing against my opponents. And if you want to play a little bit more aggressive, you can play press after possession loss, but I don't really recommend that. If you are still not very good at defending, I don't really recommend that. But if you are experienced enough, I really recommend press after possession loss, because I also love to play this kind of defensive style. I really love to play very aggressive, pressing at my opponents very high up. You know, that's why I love to play press after possession loss as well. But if you want to play a little bit crazier, or maybe if you are losing the game, or maybe you are running out of time and the minute is kind of near the 90th minute, you can play constant pressure. If you are really desperate in winning the game or getting a draw when you are losing by 1 goal or something like that, you can play constant pressure. That's it. So still the safest one, the best one is going to be balance. For the width 50 because that's the most balanced one. For the depth 65 because I love to press my opponents very aggressively high up. That's why I put 65. If you want to play a little bit crazier, you can put 70 because yeah, if you are really that desperate. But if you want to play park the bus, you can play them on 50 like this, because this is a very defending, a very defending minded kind of depth. Actually, I don't really recommend 50 except if your opponents are playing very aggressively. You can play the depth on 50 because Chelsea is also pretty good at defending, so I kind of really recommend that as well. But still, the most balanced one for me, 65, that's the best one. For the build-up play balance, chance creation balance, because as I said just now, I love to be very unpredictable when I'm playing against my opponents online. I love to be, I love to make my opponents hardly predicting my movements, my build-up plays, everything, so that they are gonna have a very hard time in predicting my attacking build-up play. So putting them on balance is gonna give me a lot of freedom in building up my attacks. I can directly play possession, I can directly play fast counter attacks, I can directly play long ball without having to adjust the tactical settings from the pause menu again. That's why I play balance, all of it balanced like this. For the width 50 and placing box 5 bars because that's the most balanced one. And for the corners and the free kicks 1 until 5, it's up to you. You can choose anything for this actually. And now let's go to the instructions. For the keeper, come for crosses, and for the center backs, all of them no changes, all of them all default like this. And for Alonso, you can play the runtime overlap, or maybe if you want to play on all default like this, it's also fine as well, because Alonso can also play on the half spaces. But since Werner is trying to play more like a striker, I would personally prefer overlap. Okay. For Azpilicueta, as I said just now, he can play as a center back, he can play as a right back, right wing back, attacking wing back. So I would just rather put all of these settings, the instructions, on all default, because Azpilicueta is a very versatile player, as I mentioned just now. That's it for the defenders. Now let's go to Jorginho and Kante. Jorginho stay back while attacking, and for the rest of them all default because Jorginho is a very static player. His movement is mostly going to stay on the midfield or on the defensive third because he's not very fast. He only got 55 pace, so I have to play safer. I don't want to play too risky. So Jorginho is obviously also a deep line playmaker, so it's much better to have him to stay back like this. To be a playmaker at the back. But if you want to play him, for example, on free roam, it's fine as well because he is a playmaker. He's a deep line playmaker. He's very creative. He can also, while staying back, he can also roam to the left, to the right like this. So if you want to put Jorginho on free roam like this, it's fine as well. I kind of love to put them on both. I kind of love to put Jorginho on stay back while attacking and free roam. That's my personal preferences. But if you want to put him on just default like this, it's also fine as well. That's it. For Kante, it's going to be all default, but if you want to put him on stay back while attacking, I don't really recommend that because I also sometimes need Kante to go up to help the attacking build-up play because Kante, beside playing as a anchor, he can also play as a box-to-box midfielder. That's what I like about Kante. So he is also pretty fast. So I love to play Kante running up and down like this because he also got 97 stamina. He does not easily get tired. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna play Kante actually in the game. And for Werner, cut inside and get behind. And that's it actually. And for the rest of them on default. But if you wanna put him on getting behind only, it's also fine as well. If you really wanna, for example, if you really wanna just play him on the overlap also, and also on the half spaces on both of these zones, is also pretty fine if you want to play him on all default, like on getting behind only. But I would rather just put him on cut inside because sometimes I need Werner to trying to get into the box and score goals if he can. So that's why I put the instructions for cut inside and get behind. But if you want to play a little bit more direct, you can also play get into the box for cross so that he can create much more chances as a striker to score goals instead of just playing as a winger. But cut inside and game behind is already more than enough. And for Ziyech, it's going to be free roam and come short. This one is a special case because, as I mentioned just now, Ziyech is basically a playmaker who plays on the winger position. He's an inverted winger. So the reason why I put him on free roam because he's a very creative player. He's a playmaker, and come short because I want Ziyech to play as a midfielder even though his position is as a winger. By putting the instructions on come short, he's going to play a lot more like a midfielder. He's going to come short to another teammate, and then so that the teammates can short pass to Ziyech much easier when he is coming short to his teammates. That's how I want to play Ziyech. Okay, so yeah, Ziyech is basically like Jorginho, a playmaker, but much more offensive-minded, and especially his crosses are very deadly. So just make sure to use his crosses as many times as you can. Cross the ball to Lukaku and let Lukaku score that goal, score that headers. For Mason Mount, it's going to be free roam as well. But if you want to put him on default like this, and all of them on default is fine as well. But sometimes I just want to put him on free roam because he's also pretty. He got a little bit efficient. He's very good at passing as well. So give him the role on free roam is also pretty good. But I sometimes just want to treat him like a striker. So I just want to put him on default like this. Yeah, it's all according to your playing style. Just adjust with your playing style. You don't have to be so stiff. Just be flexible with your playing style. Adjust the tactics with your own style. Okay, that's it. For Lukaku, you can put him on getting behind, but I would rather just put Lukaku on all default. And I would love to play him on stay forward because Lukaku is all about goals, nothing else. So Lukaku is going to be playing like a poacher, having him stand by on the final third, try and score goals when he receives the ball, after he receives the ball. So that's how I'm gonna play Lukaku. That's it. So Lukaku is gonna be stay forward, and for the rest of them all default. And that's it for the tactics. I hope that you find this video helpful. Please leave a like if you find this video helpful, and subscribe to my channel to see more videos about FIFA. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Slanty Alien or Slim signing out. Bye. Peace.